Hi. So this is a quick video. We're going to do some bounty hunting, essentially just taking problems that we have and creating bounties of them. So just showing how I personally do this. Apologize if the background is a bit noisy. I'm in a cafe/bar. So I guess the first thing is that you have some kind of background process, mental sort of checklist, things I'm working on. Uh, I just jot them down in this text file, links to issues, some keywords, things help me remember what I want to bounty. And then just to show you, so we have org-wide project here. It's this one. Status sub swarm. And this is where Andy and others sort of keep track of bounties and their state. So let's create some. So just like some list, there's some issue link. Let's see what this is. So this is, I guess, a leftover for offline inboxing. It was deemed not to be sort of on a critical path, so we decided to postpone it. I wrote a sort of note for myself. So let's see first if this is actually something, the way it's written, if it's something we can actually bounty up as it is. So it's kind of a broad issue. So I worked on this in the specific swarm, and it requires some stuff where you need to trust nodes and like there's all this stuff to do. But on the other hand, this is something that we can help a potential PR person with. So I think this is fine as is, to be honest. I think Dimitri described it well enough. There should be some setting screen. This already exists in some form, and they should be able to select the node to use for offline inboxing, and then this should be able to toggle this. And then there's some implementation detail, but the interface is sort of good enough. So I'm actually just gonna label this already. So I'm putting it in this project. It's here, and then the label system looks like this. And this is kind of a, I would say, medium-sized task. This first thing, and then I'm just gonna put a note here for bounties that I've found. Let's see this one. So this one came from a discussion with Roman and some other people. It has to do with documentation, which is something that's lacking. So documentation of protocol allow whisper messaging from. So what this is essentially we have this wiki page talking about whisper messaging, which is the application protocol, and it's sort of out of date in multiple ways. And what we want is something. One idea is we create something that looks like this. Essentially, just having the documentation inline namespace and sort of just in function forms. And the reason for that is because it's much easier to keep up to date, and it's part of a pull request acceptance criteria for pull request. So that's sort of the idea, and we're going to try it out with protocol because the most important part of the code base. So let's create an issue for this one. Just filling this out a bit. I think that's good enough. It's just convention I like to use to show what type of feature it is. Um, so decided we'll start with these ones. Just verify that's actually the case. It's here, this namespace, and chat, right? Yep, and group. It's a start. I mean, it's not. Yeah, it's a start just to see what it feels like, and then we can do it more rigorously. Um, this isn't very relevant. Um, yeah, this is good enough because it's kind of. I mean, it's better if some concrete question comes in and we can have a dialogue about it. We don't have to over-specify it. I think this is sort of clear enough in terms of what the goal is. Google namespace and function. Yeah, works. And since this is, I don't know how big this is, but so this requires you to sort of have some understanding of what this actually does. So it's not completely trivial, but on the other hand, there's already some documentation here. Wrong one. Yeah, I'm gonna put as a medium because it's not a huge one, but it's not non-trivial. So okay, there we go. That's 2. And then I'm gonna ask people, ping some people. Once I have a list, I'm just gonna ping them and ask for people to give their thoughts and stuff. And I guess another thing, a meta thing here is that you don't need to get buy-in from everyone. It's more about making a proposal, and then if 3 people are for it, then you just create a bounty, right? It doesn't have to be more complicated than that. So not everyone has to agree on something, and it's fine if someone disagrees. That's all right. You can still just do it and see what it feels like, right? This is a bit. Oh, I guess we can add this. All right. We'll start with this one. So all of these are literally just sort of things that come up, a little coding, talking about things, browsing issues, and so on. And it's just like a background process, and it doesn't take much time other than just putting it down in a document. It's more a matter of a habit. So this one is the fact that there's some test is failing, and it was unclear exactly why, and so on. So the easiest fix to get build to work again was just to disable it. But we should definitely fix that. It's just not critical, so that's why it's a good bounty. So you see, that's actually the case for 2. Here we have another thing, but we have 2 tests here that are failing or are disabled for some reason. So let's just bounty them. Yeah, I mean, this is good enough. I think it should be fairly self-explanatory. Oops. I think this is quite a small one. Actually, did I? Maybe I forgot. Let me check. And this could be 2 bounties because it's 2 different tests, and maybe they turn out to be very different. But I think this is fine for now. And if we learn more, then we can fork it into 2. So then that is one. Cool. So yeah, I don't know how much fun this is to watch, but that's the wrong one. I don't know how fun this is to watch, but it's just an example of, I guess, 3 bounties, and it didn't take that long to write. And we'll see what kind of feedback we get. We also have some other stuff that I'll do later, but it's the same thing, right? There's no magic to it. Yeah, so I'm gonna stop here. So I'll probably keep going a bit and do these as well, or at least a few of them, however long I feel like it. But if you don't have a list like that, and you're looking for some kind of seed list, I mean, you can ask people, right? You can look at issues. This is more like you're actually hunting for specific ones. You can look for here, and maybe something jumps out, like this one. Okay, so this is like wrong icon. I think Chad mentioned briefly that this could be bountied. In this case, then this is already made some progress, but I mean, you could do stuff like this. It doesn't take that long. What else can you do? So something that happens quite frequently. So we have this product. This is Stats Direct, but we also have. Oh, and you can see here. Anyway, they show up. The other ones I created. Um, so what's a good example here? Well, we have all these projects, right? And as you decide that things are sort of critical or not critical, you might decide that like maybe this thing, for example, DevOps task, which is about making Mapbox work faster. You can sort of factor that out and make it more reliable, and like create a bounty of that. So there's things like that you can do. Um, so I like to batch it up, so it's not just like on a demand thing, but I just yeah, keep a list and then batch it up. Maybe do it once or twice a week, ideally. What else? Yeah, I mean, you want them to be well defined, ideally not a critical path, but I mean, even then there are exceptions, right? Another thing is that it should be an open task, so not require like access to Jenkins or something like that. But I mean, this can work surprisingly. Like you don't, most issues can or should be fine for this. I'll give you an example. So you look, let's see here, external. So this is a bounty, right? That I created not too long ago. There's no issue number, but it's about getting code signing working for external contributors. And I mean, this requires access to like you need like a GitHub organization. You need to do a lot of experimentation and stuff. And like it's we have a specific setup in terms of review rules and all of this, but it's fine. Like this person just created, I think, his own organization and just mimicked it, and then we had a feedback loop, talked back and forth, and it worked out fine, right? So it's not a big deal. What else? We have some other example here. Here's someone who's been doing stuff that also impacts status go, so it's sort of crossing both, like the boundary between status rect and status go. So that can also work as a bounty. Yeah, I can't think. Maybe we have some still open here. Yeah, I didn't prepare this part, but I guess you understand the main point, and maybe hopefully this was useful. So I'm just going to show you like usually what I do. So I just do something like this. And that's essentially it. And then this is the sort of Slack channel for bounties in case you're interested. There's something, you can see some stats in terms of how many that Andy is making, in terms of how many bounties we're opening and so on. And I think that, I mean, it's a really useful way of recruiting and of getting work done and sort of scaling our efforts. And you can see here we have more than 100 contributors. Pretty awesome. And also one of the main org goals for Stats as a whole. So I would really encourage people to use these bounties. And I mean, you saw here, it didn't take that long today to create a few issues here, and with 20 developers, and this is something. If you come across things that you would like to see fixed as you're working on stuff, then I mean just create bounties and stuff. Yeah, that's it for me. Hope this was useful.